We talked a little bit yesterday, and I want to talk about it again today, where we are in Washington trying to get the relief package put together to help Americans suffering because of the coronavirus meltdown of our economy. And if you ever doubted the deeply held belief expressed by Rahm Emanuel, the idea that never let a good crisis go to waste, if you ever doubted that is just a operating assumption of the Democrat Party, this can cure any doubts you have. Let me just tell you the few things, just a short laundry list of the items Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats are trying to stuff into this corona relief package. Again, literally, this is intended to help Americans who've lost paychecks, lost jobs, can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgage, can't put food on the table, to help businesses who are suffering because of the incredible impact of coronavirus. Here's what Nancy Pelosi and her team want to put into this bill. And this is why it's been held up in Washington. Number one, the Democrats are trying to use this corona funding bill to completely obliterate the idea of fair elections. They are trying to force onto all of America, compel for all of America, the kind of provisions California uses in order to cheat the electorate out of the right to have fair elections. They tried to put in the bill. This is, again, the Pelosi Democrat team mandating the counting of provisional ballots. We talked about that before. Provisional ballots are ballots of people when they come in to vote and they're not on the voter rolls at all, or there's some concern that perhaps they aren't supposed to be voting. They vote in some other state. You fill out a provisional ballot. Mandates counting provisional ballots. Number two, nationalizes the requirement of same day as election voter registration. Any goofball can wander in on election day, register and vote. And third, nationalizes the practice we've talked about many times called ballot harvesting. The basic idea of having people go around to homes of people who are perhaps homebound or not particularly active, perhaps very senior, and go in, bring them ballots, supposedly have the person vote, pick that ballot up and deliver it back to the county election commission to be voted as a valid ballot. It is a known tactic to cheat in elections. So, and this is what the Democrats would like to force on all of America, as opposed to letting states set their own practices and rules with respect to voting. So that's just one arena of just contortion of the coronavirus bill that the Democrats have been up to. They also, if you miss this little clip, I'm not going to play the clip today, but there was a gentleman, the majority whip, a Democrat in the U.S. House Majority Whip, James Clyburn, actually said on camera that he and his colleagues saw the coronavirus bill as a tremendous opportunity to restructure things to fit our vision. No kidding. In addition to taking over the entire election system in this country, they demanded changes in bargaining powers for unions, all sorts of provisions from the Green New Deal, provisions that relate to the environment, stuck into this bill. I'll give you some specifics. Other ones, corporations, if you receive any money from this coronavirus bill funding, the Democrats are trying to put in that you have to produce to the government corporate pay statistics by race, as well as racial statistics for all corporate boards if your company receives any money at all. It involves bailing out the all current debt of the Postal Service, which, by the way, oddly, personally benefits Nancy Pelosi and her family, requires early voting happen in all states, a $10,000 bailout for all student loans, for companies accepting assistance from this bill, forcing them going forward to fill at least 1/3 of their board members by people chosen by the company's workers, provisions, all sorts of changes to collective bargaining rules, full offset. There's all sorts of environmental things in there about with respect to the airlines, full offset of airline emissions by 2025, essentially demanding that the airlines pick up the cost of what they claim is they're requiring them to offset the harm to the environment done by the use of airplanes, $15 minimum wage at companies receiving any assistance at all, oddly, retirement plans for community newspaper employees, permanent paid leave at companies receiving assistance, and last little shot, because I could go on for the entire show today and just list the absurd demands made by the Democrats for this funding bill, but I'll end with this one. In the draft Nancy Pelosi has put forward for this funding bill, The word diversity, demanding diversity, occurs 32 times. This is a just playground for the radical left, for the Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats to contort the purpose of this bill, which was to get assistance to Americans as quickly as possible in light of the harm done to our economy by the coronavirus. This is the Democrats telling you they actually don't really care about helping the Americans who have been harmed by the coronavirus. They're not interested in addressing the problem. They think they have the Republicans over a barrel. They have the American people over a barrel. They see it as a chance to force radical leftism into this bill. And so far, at least, the Republicans in the Senate are saying no way. I'm actually hoping that at some point, Donald Trump can just say, you know what? We may just try to get through this without this massive spending bill. There has already been another one, but without this massive assistance, because we can't let the Democrats put in place their radical socialist agenda just so we can get money to Americans who've been harmed by this coronavirus epidemic. This is, if you ever needed it, a window into the thought of the radical left in this country. Simply, plain old, power-driven, power-hungry, left-wing radicals who are seizing the opportunity, because they don't have this very often, to force many, many ideas into law that they could never get passed if the actual whole Congress, selected by the American people, had a chance to vote. And that, my friends, is today's First Five.